Hi everybody, well this is just going to be a short video primarily for my students, but for anybody else who wants to look at this video and check it out. For anybody that's having problems with getting a clean chord. Now lately I've had a lot of students who have had a problem with, in particular, beginner chords like the C or the D. And of course one of the most common problems getting muted strings. Strings that sound like that. So I'm going to come up real close here and I'm going to show you how best to get rid of buzzing or rattling or muted notes. So let's zoom in here. Here we have a C chord and we're on first fret of string 2, we're on second fret of string 4, we're on third fret of string 5. This is how a chord should sound when it's clean. Now what we do to check that chord is we pick down every string one by one from string 5. Now the biggest problem students have is when a finger touches the string below. And the only way to get around this is to really sit your knuckles up nice and high. Now you can see how much of a bend I've got in my first finger here. It literally is coming down very vertical on the fretboard, so as not to touch the string below. Okay, and now sometimes people will have issues with their hands. Maybe they've had old injuries or things like that. And that is going to really cause a problem. Now, the thing that you can do that really helps you with this is to keep this thumb on the back like this, nice and straight. Don't have the thumb sitting over to the side like this or like this. You want it straight and in a comfortable position behind the fingers. So usually you'll find a sweet spot, just a spot that's nice and comfortable behind the fingers. You don't want the thumb sitting up here. You want to bring it down and have it in the middle of the neck. Not all the time, but mostly that's where you want it to be. And then you're setting the fingers down. And I always tell students to set the fingers down in the order of 1, 2, 3. It just means you don't have to think about what way the fingers are going down all the time. The other thing that causes problems for students is when they pick a note and they get this string rattle or buzz. And that happens because maybe you're sitting too far away from the fret or the fret. You see here? So this is the best place to fret a note on string 1 or string 2 on fret 1 to get a note. Not here, but here. Anything back here, you're going to have to press down really hard to get a note. You want to zoom up here, right close to the back of the fret. That is the easiest place to squeeze down the note and get a clean note. So if you get the finger there, now that is challenging when you're a beginner and you're trying to play a C chord like this, and you find that the fingers maybe just can't reach there. But the hand will stretch quite a bit through repeated practice of that chord. So keep fretting the chord over and over and over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep stretching out the hand. And when I was starting, I actually lifted the fingers, physically lifted them with the other hand and moved the fingers behind the frets until the hand really stretched out and got used to it. And that did work. It really helped me. So all of these sorts of things can really help when it comes to making a good clean chord. Now remember, you need to keep checking the chord. So picking down the strings one by one. And if you don't get a clean note on one of those strings, go and find out where the problem lies. Is the note too far back? Are you not pressing down? The other thing is pressing down hard enough. And students complain about my fingertips are sore. The fingertips will be sore for a few weeks, but it's essential that you keep practicing. That might sound counterproductive. It might sound like it's the wrong thing to do, but practicing 15 minutes a day is all it will take to toughen those fingers up, provided you do it every day. So at 5 days a week, your weekdays, keep at it. And sooner or later, you'll build up what's called calluses, which is just extra skin on your fingertips. And so the fingertips won't hurt as much. I mean, you're going to get this. Even with calluses, you'll get little wee lines on the fingers where the fingers have been holding down the strings. But it's important that you're able to press the strings down onto the fretboard while keeping that thumb at the back and squeezing between the fingers and thumb. These are all essential things when it comes to making clean chords. It's very important because a simple basic open chord like this, where you've got some fretted notes and some open strings, an open chord like this can sound fantastic if it's played clean and if it's played in the right timing. It'll sound great. The other thing that we really need to mention here is short nails. Now, I have my nails long on one hand because I use these nails to pick and finger pick on the picking hand, but on the fretting hand, you must have them short, because if you don't and the nail's too long, it will impede your fingertip. It'll stop your fingertip from getting down onto the fretboard. And of course, that's going to stop you getting a clean note. You'll end up with muted notes or buzzy notes. Maybe you're holding it down onto the fretboard, but maybe not enough. That also can cause rattle, like that. But I think probably the biggest issue that I seem to have with students for the likes of the C chord and the D chord as well, but primarily the C chord, is this business of touching the string below with a finger. So what you've got to try and do is hinge and pivot on your thumb and hinge the hand round and keep your knuckles sitting up as far as you can. Now, you might have had a hand injury or finger injury that maybe doesn't allow you to do that as much as you need to, but all you can do at the end of the day is your best. That's all you can do. If you're still getting a little bit of buzz and you've tried absolutely everything, there may be just a limitation there if you've got an injury, and you might just have to do what you can. Sometimes there's little ways around that, and sometimes there's not. For most people that haven't had an injury, this is what you need to do. You need to keep those knuckles sitting up, play on the fingertips, right? Not on the pads of your fingers. You can't be playing here, right? You have to play on the fingertip. This is essential. If you get used to flattening out the fingers, now you can flatten out the fingers for some chords when it comes to things like power chords and such, like that. You can flatten the fingers out, but when you're playing open chords, you need to be down on your fingertips as vertical as you can get onto that fretboard. So we've covered quite a range of points and issues there and topics in terms of getting the clean chord, a really, really clean chord. And remember, you've got to pay attention to all of these points. If you want that super clean chord, that's what you've got to do. And I don't think there's anything else to really think about there. But if you do, you will see people doing this, okay? You can try that, but that will restrict the movement of your hand. So when I teach students to start off, this is actually a classical grip that classical guitar players use. When you're holding your thumb on the back of the neck, like this, and the fingers are out the front. That's what you want to do, okay? Hope that helps. See you soon. Bye.